Saturday, which was Vengeance Day, NBA All-Star, and a Australian ass AEW show. I didn't catch NXT at the very beginning, so I initially hadn't seen DDM up in the intro, but it was immediate. I said, "Oh shit, that's DDM right there. He's sitting right on the camera side."
First picture you see of me like this.
You can't give a Baltimore nigga nothing. You can't take a Baltimore nigga no place.
Oh no, I was there and I was like NXT, you know, in my over Femi shirt.
Did you take a screen grab?
Oh, yeah, I posted the whole video. It's on my Insta.
I could get off of here and try and figure out how to grab that real quick, but no, I have not grabbed the image of that. That's one of the many things I've messed up on this week.
It's on my
I
Insta.
could do that if you want. No, but DDM, I know you went down to DC.
Yeah.
What was that situation like?
I saw my girl Ash and Reese from Lip Gloss and Ladders. They were there.
Shout out to the homies.
Corey was there. We all took a picture, posted it on the gram. It was a great time. At first, I thought the DC crowd was going to be whack because it's such a transit city. But they woke up when the cameras turned on. They was ready. It was interesting. I saw another friend of mine, shout out to Renita, there as well. And we were having a conversation because I feel like at these events, some of these folks, and even in DC, you're seeing this, they feel like, oh, how did you as a Black person get a seat like this? How did you get here? Right? And so, first of all, bitch, it's NXT. Their rates don't even give. Like, bitch, you got front row tickets to a Raw or SmackDown, bitch. It's fucking developmental. Calm the fuck down. But you know, you very much get that kind of energy. Like, bitch, the fucking VIP seats don't even have the event on them. It's just a stock WWE logo out my face. But so you run into that,
right? Always.
And so that was taking me aback. But one thing that bothered me, and I know we're going to be positive, and I'm going to talk about the energy. But one thing that bothered me was when Trick Williams lost. It was a Black guy sitting in front of me, and he was there, you know, with some of his friends who were of other ethnicities. And, you know, when Trick, you know, finished the match, you know, a lot of the Black people and some of the Black people behind me had the sentiment about Black History Month, and we clapped for Trick. And he said, the Black guy that was in front of me was like, don't clap for him. Don't clap for him. He lost. I said, we're always going to clap for our people, even if we don't care for them. He lost, but first of all, you fucking idiot! It's a predetermined show. It's not like this was a real goddamn fight. No shade, but it's predetermined.
We're never going to beat the monolith accusations,
right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you know, that kind of thing. So it kind of annoyed me, right? A little bit, but outside of that. And another thing too, it reinforced what I believe, that children are not ignorant. They're not born ignorant. They're taught it. Because I was sitting next to your father, and he was clearly of a certain belief system, and he had his two sons there. And when Oba came out, the little boy was kind of confused because he was looking at my nails and looking at me. But when Oba came out, I sounded like a whole nigga. It was like, whoo! Like, and I think that that little boy, he was like, he started going whoo, and we looked at each other going whoo, and his father looked at me, and I looked at his father like whoo, like what the fuck you want to do?
And, we enjoying the show. What else is going
on? And so it showed me, like, I think that taught that child something, because. First of all, in my section, it was like a couple of big Black guys behind me. Like, they was built. So seeing all of these Black men go, woof, I think it scared his father a little bit. But the little boy was intrigued. And when I smiled at him, and then we both went woof together, and he stood up on his chair, he's like, who's that? I'm like, it's Oba Femi. He's like, oh, I like him. And that taught me so much about the faith and the hope lies in children, because they only understand kindness. They only understand pure communication. And so that was very touching to me, and I thought it taught his father a lesson too. But outside of that, those cultural sentiments, I enjoyed the show. I think we got a show worth our money. I think Stephanie Valkyria is tiny. Roxanne is tiny. Stephanie's just thick. And it was interesting hearing the men in the crowd talk about certain women. Like, they were very disappointed that Jada Parker was not there, even though she showed up on screen. They were like, man, Jada Parker want to God. Like, Jada Parker is going to be just fine. Because I was listening in the crowd, and black men in particular really like her. So it was interesting hearing that. Well, we know why, but it was interesting hearing that, and they like Julia too. It was interesting hearing a lot of black men when Julia came out. I heard one guy, and this has nothing to do with nothing, but it gives me an idea of why I'm starting to understand. Because sometimes I'll watch shows and be like, "Oh, she's boring. Oh, she's not," like with Liv Morgan and stuff like that. But sitting in the audience at these shows, I understand why certain people get put in the positions that they're put in. They're not made to appeal to me. I'm a gay black man from Baltimore. I'm just looking at how bad a bitch is, and is she really going to go in the ring? Some of these men is looking at, like one thing I heard when Julia came out consistently from the men in the crowd was, she's so damn sexy. That's all I kept hearing. And to me, I'm like, I like Julia. I'm glad she's the champion, but she hasn't had that match yet that makes me feel like she should have that belt. But listening to the crowd, I'm like, okay, I get this now. I understand, and not to diminish Julia's talent or greatness, because she's very talented, but she hasn't had those moments yet that have me invested in her as a champion. But I understand what they're doing, and sitting in the crowd was eye-opening, and learning and understanding why certain people track better than others.
I think that people that come from New Japan have an upper hand.
Talk about
regardless of ring acumen. Maybe that's the right word to use.
Work rate.
I think they always get the upper hand because they came from the dojo, and it's like New Japan is revered. Like, training in Japan is revered. And so I too haven't seen that match, but I hold her for some reason, like, in the back of my brain, because I guess I'm trained by the hardcores, that's
gonna be a banger.
That's the upper echelon. That's the, regardless of how we feel. Like, I think that's the reason why Cody gets what he gets now, because he went through New Japan.
I'm
not impressed.
I think for him that was definitely one of those things he had to do before even thinking about going back. Like, really making that a thing. DDM said he was sitting. I mean, that's definitely DDM standing and cheering in that from the intro. NXT. And no, it's ill to see. And then, but again, that's a couple minutes into the show. DDM, because if even on the stories is gone, but DDM was DDM. If DDM at the show, DDM gonna let you know on social media. And I was seeing all types of little random clips.
I like to support the shows. And that's from indie. I personally enjoy in-person indie shows better because they're so ratchet and so unhinged. So for me, I'm more entertained by an indie show than I am, because WWE, when you go, yes, it's wrestling matches, but it's very much you're going to a television show filming.
Oh, it's buttoned up. It's definitely buttoned up.
It's different, and that's a separate experience in its own right. But I personally enjoy, and I never thought I would say this because the production value is given. But I personally enjoy the indie shows in person more than I do even the AEW. Right? I enjoy those more. But I will say, like, as far as Julia is concerned, Stephanie to me has translated better than Julia, and not to compare, but Stephanie for some reason is connecting with the lens and the audience in a way that Julia has not figured out yet. And so it's interesting to see how that's going to work. Because Julia got the big belt, but Stephanie feels like so far the bigger, the better transition from where she was at to this product.
That's a good point. What you saying, man?
You're on mute.
God damn, what the fuck?
There you go.
Stephanie,
the cussing came through.
Stephanie got the Sanson. No,
hey,
nigga.
DDM, I'll kick you out of here.
Stephanie got the Sanson. That's what it is. Stephanie got the
package.
Sanson.
It's funny because I don't know if you're being funny or not.
No, I'm
not.
I'm not. I'm dead serious.
Talk about it.
I feel like Hispanic culture is closer to what we are pop culture wise here. So that way, like they come across better in that way. Like the way people like when you watch animes and like just outside of the wrestling scope, like their storytelling is very specific a lot of times in like Asian countries where it is it feels off watching it as, you know what I'm saying, somebody from over the West.
There's definitely a certain barrier to entry for certain forms of media coming from there.
And I feel like you know, that ain't that. Was it? She's an Argentinian.
I'm Chilean, I believe, but she spent a lot of time in Mexico.
From Chile.
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 Yeah, you know what I mean. That's just, you know what I mean, the dirty South America. You know what I mean. What you niggas know about the dirty South?
There's probably something there. It definitely feels, and I will say, I feel like I've seen her. I'd have to go back and look at cage match. I feel like I've seen Stephanie Vaquero wrestle a little more than I've seen Julie, especially since Julie has become world champion, women's world champion in NXT. What was there a favorite moment you had live from the show, DDM? Was it Oba? Was it Oba beating everybody ass?
Yeah, I love Oba Femi, but I like this little group that they got going on where the lights went out and they was in a different ones. That was kind of cute. I was here for
the
that.
New Nexus, the new Nexus.
Right. I like that. And I liked Stephanie coming out. It was nice to see Stephanie. I really enjoyed the tag match between Fraxium and Old Boy and Inamura, butchering his name. I thought
was it Josh Briggs
that was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot of fun live. Yes. And it was a lot of fun because it was something that people were like, "Oh, bathroom break," but then to me, they did what you're supposed to do when you're in that position. Is they gave me something great that I was like ready to leave.
It showed up.
I thought that tag team match was better than the tag team match at Royal Rumble.
Facts. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Yeah. Fraxium goes ham too, but yeah, I think that combination of Briggs and Inamura with them, it was better than I thought it was going to be when it was on. It felt like one of the matches I wasn't really going to be paying attention to, but once they started going, it was a problem.
They did a good job on that, but no, overall I had a good time. And I thought it was nice. DC just has to work on better traffic options, exiting their venues from FedEx Fields. This situation,
that joint in the hood though too.
It was definitely traffic on abandoned building. Like, oh, I should have brought my knife with me.
It reminded me of how John Hopkins is right in the hood. Then you see the school and it's nice, and then you back in the hood.
Yeah, it was definitely giving, Trap Queen, but it was nice. It was a good time. People had, good energy at the end. So yeah, I have no complaints.
That's what's up.
NXT.
That was DDM up in the intro of the show. Chin.
Big
chin.
Forever.
Did you say that was DDM putting the in NXT?
It was a whole row. Sorry. It was a hit row. Shout out. No, shout out for it. Ricky, well, I guess at that point he wasn't Ricky anything. He was just a dude that showed up and said, "Hey,
the absolute chick,
absolute NXT." He said, "Hey, I'll see y'all Tuesday. I'm about to sign my contract." And then that was kind of it.
And he sounded like too. I really liked how he came across. He looks excited to be there. He looks like, like I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be cute for you. Tony is definitely probably fighting the air.
I always like.
He got an Android.